Welcome everybody to this week's community call. This is a big week, so I have a big guest with me today. I have with me Alexis. I'm trying to do a good job about you. I'm pretty hyped actually about this conversation. So it's been a while since we had a one-to-one like this. Today I have with me Alexis Roussel, the Nym CEO. How is it going, sir?
I'm going very well. Yes, thank you. So I'm pretty happy to be here, um, talk with the community, get some question, give some good feedback. I hope it's going to be interactive with a lot of questions. This
Yes,
is
let's
where
hope
we get the
so.
most. This is where we get the most value out of all of this together.
Yep, exactly. So I will already say the usual thing, guys. Feel free to leave your questions in the live chat on YouTube or Twitch, or if you want to preserve your privacy and not log in with your YouTube account, you can also leave your questions on the general chat of the Nym Matrix server. We're also keeping an eye there. With all of that said, I think we're basically ready to jump into the many topics that we have discussed today. Like I said, or that we have to discuss today. Like I said, it's a big week in more ways than one. So as you guys know, Nym is currently doing a buyback, which means that we are purchasing Nym tokens on the market, basically. So Alexi, let's start with this topic. Can you walk us through the details of this buyback? So where do the purchase tokens go? How much we're purchasing for? What's the timeline? Everything that you want to talk about.
Yeah. So first is maybe the reason, right? The reason why we are doing this buyback. So there are many reasons. One obvious reason is that the price is very low, right? And because the price is very low, we are building all this infrastructure, and we are much aware of what is the role of that the token will have during when the system is functioning. And just purely from a market perspective, when the token is very low, that means there's maybe too much liquidity on the market. So we reduce this amount of liquidity because the token will have currently it has a limited use. It is used for selecting mixed nodes for people who wants to build the reputation of the mixed node and also to get the rewards from the mixed node, and these rewards come from the mixed mining pool, which is the first big chunk of tokens that have been set from the beginning, right? So, but when we are moving into another a period where people will have to get credential from the system, we will have to have these Nym tokens that will circulate more also between the users of the network and the mixed mining pool and the operators who are running the mixed node. So we have to kickstart this, and here definitely the price was low. So for us, it allows us to take some of those tokens with a buyback and to use them in order to maximize the launch, because the launch is going to happen in a month, where we will start having the paid version of the NymVPN, and all these tokens actually will be useful for this launch. So
Okay, so
how did we structure this? So there's the blog post is very precise, and I won't say anything more than there's in the blog post, because we really put all the details there. So what did we do? We took $1 million of our treasury, and we gave it to one of our market maker, and basically we instructed him to make an average buy over a long period of the token. That's up to him to decide when it's going to happen. And we are not doing this manually, or we're not doing this ourselves, right? And so what happens is that they're buying like over several exchanges at the same time, and they will push. They will define exactly the moment. They will be like small buys throughout a period of about a month. So roughly from now until the launch, basically, because what we want to do is we want to already see, to measure actually how much the pressure on the price that we can get from a constant buy, because when we will be in a mode where we are operational and we are selling the VPN, what will happen? People will go on our websites and will purchase the VPN, or they will go through the app and they will purchase the VPN, and they will send small amounts, right? They will send whatever, $10 roughly. Soon we will have the official prices that will be published. So they will send us some fiat by credit card, or some Bitcoin by Lightning, Monero, whatever kind of currency that we will accept. We will accept a pretty broad. And because most of the people who will be using the NymVPN will not be crypto native people, the market of VPN is right now pretty much larger. We don't want them to have to mess around with the token. Right? So we will purchase the token ourselves for them, right? And we will use this token into the system. And so that means that Nym, the company, will be buying constantly some Nym tokens based on the success of the VPN. So the more user we have, the more we buy tokens. So this will create a pressure, and we have to measure actually what is the impact on the price, because then we have to make sure that the operators are rewarded correctly, and that the whole cycle functions correctly. So this buyback has one of this function is to test this flow of buying to see what is the impact, but it's also to reduce. It's a big buyback so that we can reduce the liquidity, and we can use this the token liquidity to launch to have a better impact on the launch of the VPN. And the good thing about it is that we're because people who have already tokens, they made the effort basically to have the token, to hold the tokens, some of them for a long time. Maybe now some people are actually buying a bit more. But the idea is that when we will come on the day of launch, people will be able to, if you don't want to pay in fiat or in Bitcoin, you will be able to pay in tokens directly. And that will be the most beneficial option. It will be the cheapest one, and we'll make sure that there is a nice discount when you start using the NymVPN by spending Nym tokens.
Excellent. Now there is already a community question which is highly relevant to this part, so I'm going to just put it on screen.
Yeah.
So thanks for the question, friend, as usual. So it is cool, or is it not cool, to have a toolbar where we can see how much has been bought and how much is left? Now, I would broaden this question a little bit, Alexis, for those who may be new to the crypto space, or just like any financial space in general. Why would it be a bad idea to announce the exact details of such an action?
Yeah. So what you don't want to, I mean, we're happy to give a lot of transparency, but the thing is that when you are like touching with markets, if you are too precise on how a buyback like this is going to happen, then basically you have people who will try to game the system. Right? And if you try to game the system, well, you're screwing up all the analysis that we want to make on to see what is the natural process, a natural change of the token throughout this time. So imagine again, like we're now a few months after, there is a constant buy of tokens because of the NymVPN. And this buy will be like constant, right? We won't be able to say exactly on that day we'll purchase this amount, and on that day this other amount. So that's why we need to simulate this to the maximum as we can. And so in order to do this, we shouldn't say when we are doing. That's why even I don't know. I mean, even I don't know when the market maker is actually going to make the details of the purchase. So I think it's fair in this case to not say when exactly are we going to buy the tokens, on which day, which amount, but we give a period of time. the amount, and at the end we will see the whole amount of Bitcoin. So of tokens. Sorry, we will communicate on the total amount, because this total amount will be put in a specific account, so we can use this to for the launch of the NymVPN. So that will be communicated.
Exactly. Expect a report at the end, guys. Once the buyback period is over, of course, we're going to be transparent and share with you guys how much has been purchased exactly. But for now, we announced the general time frame and the amount that we'll have to do, right? All right. Moving on to my last buyback related question to you, Alexis. So we communicated the reasons why we're doing this buyback, or like what these tokens may be spent on in the future, right? And one of the things that currently a large portion of the NYM treasury, treasury in NYM tokens is locked in, is the NYM Delegations Program. So we have 40 million NYM tokens allocated to that. For those who don't know what the NYM Delegations Program is, it's our way of supporting NYM node operators. Basically, the NYM treasury stakes on NYM nodes so that they can become profitable faster, and this way, we help bootstrap them. And these stake tokens also produce staking rewards, which then end up funding community activities. This fund is called the Squad Wealth Fund, which we use to fund all of the lovely contributions that our community does every season. Now, the question is whether people should expect some extension, maybe to the delegations program budget, or is it big enough already as it is? How do you see the delegations program after
All
the
right.
buyback?
So right now we keep options open, but because how much are we expecting to get from this buyback? We're expecting to get roughly between 10 and 20 million. It's a large gap, but this is basically what we're looking at. So that means that the delegation program is already twice the amount that we expect the maximum to get. But we don't exclude this right now. It's still an option which is open. But what we're going to do at that moment will be to maximize the impact on the launch of the VPN. That's what we want to do, right? So the first thing that we will do, we will actually use these tokens. We still have to define how and exactly where, but to test the VPN in specific markets, right? So if you think of, let's be in one specific country, and there is like one specific group of people that is in need of a VPN, and we want to try it out. Well, we will actually use those tokens to sponsor them for like a month or two. We'll see, and then we can see if it generates a market or not over there. We want also, the second thing, we want to allow some NGOs, like especially around journalism, and if people follow us for some time, that we're very close to people like WikiLeaks people, and we want actually to reserve a bunch of those tokens to be able to fund on the long run, some journalists or some activists that are in deep need of this, and that will also create a good image on us. It will actually spread. I mean, if people are feeling safe by using NYM, that's a great way of marketing also this token. So it's a mixture between good usage and also like a good image that we get from this. And then the third one is actually like maybe strengthening the delegation program. The thing is that so this will depend on how much we are making the balance. We have to remember that delegation program, the amount there is not fixed, right? We right now we have 40 million, but we never guarantee that we will keep those 40 millions. We are using the yield of this to sponsor projects inside the community, but it's important to see that this is an amount that we are going to constantly change based on the dynamics of the network. If we need to increase the delegation program to remove, it's also another way to remove liquidity on the market, and it allows it. But so basically, all these things will happen based on the numbers that we will have then. So we are for now keeping options, but basically, again, to keep in mind is all these tokens that we are getting back, how we will use them to maximize the start of the NymVPN. That will be our key focus.
Excellent. That's the right. So this is the timing exactly for that, and that's the right focus to have right now for us. So thanks for that answer. Um, Moving on to a bit of a different topic, guys. You can, if you have any questions, any more questions about the buyback, make sure to leave them in the chat because we're going to be answering questions at the end of the call as well in the Q&A. But for now, let's move on to a different topic because you are COO, right? And the middle O
Yeah.
in that COO is stands for operations, so Chief Operating Officer. So uh, I would say I've been here for almost 3 years now, and I can.
Wow, 3 years, imagine, right?
Yes, almost. It feels like 30 sometimes, but because so much has happened. But I can definitely confidently say that that in terms of operations, we've come a long, long way. So I'd like you to give us a bit of history. Where were we when we started? Back when even back before even I joined, and where are we today in terms of operations from your perspective?
Yeah, so you have to remember that like Harry started the project started before as an academic project, right? It was coming out from some universities and a small European program. And basically, Harry was there, and Claudia and Anya, and basically they were Harry was pushing the idea of, let's make a business, let's make a company, and uh, let's structure the project in a way where we can attract funds, because it's very hard to attract funds in when you are academic project. And in order to make something bigger and sustainable, you need another way of doing it. So there was a first trial in the US that failed, and it was pretty hard. And then coming to Switzerland, the project came to Switzerland, and this is where I started to cooperate with Nym as part of my previous job when I was in broker in a brokerage. I was part of Bitty, and so this is where I started to say I went to see. We discussed with Harry, and we decided I was going to help on the operations side. So I started from basically from scratch because the company was like not organized at all. And so the first thing was to like get everything into control and making sure the paperwork was fine, and that I don't know, any kind of like, if people have been making a company ever in their life, they will understand that there's a lot of papers that needs to be done, that bills need to be paid. I don't know, everything needs to be done in a good way. And then so we did everything and put everything in control. And then this allowed us to like start raising money, because you can't raise money if your organization is not following. So I worked with Harry on structuring all of this. Fast forward, and then we had to grow. Yeah, we had the public sale that happened in 2022, and we had to make sure that all of the focus of the company was on delivering code and on building this mixer, which is a huge machine. It's very I don't think people realize how complex and huge this machine is, and every one of us, that we just see a small part of it. I may be in a more lucky position where I can sometimes get a glimpse of the whole machine, but it's like super complex. So I know it takes time. Even today, we're like still building a lot of things, and we're building just the first app after so many years, but it's because it's a very complex system. And so my role is to actually maximize this, so that people just have to take care of their job and build this machine, and everything around is taken care of. So we build up a small team uh, of accounting and operations and infrastructure to make sure that everyone has an email account, everyone has a computer to work with if he needs a computer, everyone is getting paid. all the service provider that we are using. If you ever in people in the community have been working for us, the payment has gone through my team, and I take pride that we always pay on time, and that we have no debts. Basically, we have zero opened invoices outside. So this is like running operations, which allows everyone to focus on the real deal, which is the Mixstat and the community and building the tech and everything. So
Can I stop you? Can I stop you for a second?
yeah, sure.
We're also fully audited, which sounds like a basic thing, right? When it comes to the crypto space, believe us, believe Alexi especially, that it's not a very easy thing to be fully audited. So we're also pretty proud of that. Is that right, Alexi?
Yeah. So the auditing is that there are many types of audits, but there is one type of audit which is financial audits, and financial audit is usually like small companies, they don't do it. And what we did, we opt in to do the financial audit. And why did we do this? Because the token we did is a token which is it's a pure crypto token, but it's also designed in a legal way in Switzerland. And this is and this is actually quite unique in the whole world. Yeah. Because usually people who want to do legal stuff, they change the tech to make it legal. No, we built the tech and we made sure then it falls into the right legal category. And so to do this, we had to do a prospectus in Switzerland. So a prospectus is a paper that you will write that describes how the token behaves and how the token will be sold. Actually, a lot of people this is the usual information that a lot of projects have to publish on their website, but here you have to publish it in a specific way with some legal terms, and once you do this, to get the whole impact of it, you also need to be audited and to make sure that that you have an external company that looks at your accounts and can say, okay, this is all actually done by the book. So it creates a lot of pressure in terms of keeping our book clean, and we cannot just do whatever we want. We have to do things in a certain way, but it creates security. So for everyone around us, in the region where we are in Neuchâtel, we can talk to the tax authority. They can see the account. Everything is cool. Everything is done, put in the right box. We can talk with the local government. We can talk with the bank. There's nothing wrong. There's nothing weird for them, and this actually secures your whole project, because there are many projects when they start having success. What happens is, because their structure and their books are not in order, people start to look at it and say, "Oh, but where are your accounts? And did you pay your taxes? And is there something dodgy in here?" Right? Because you grow too big, and so we avoided that. So by doing this exercise of financial audits, but it puts a lot of strain on the team. So the accounting team, the ops team has had some moments of suffering.
So basically, from an academic project of a few academics, right? We went to a project with, I can't even remember how many employees in total.
We're about 15 right now. Yeah,
About 50,
50.
fully audited, right? So that's the history of them in a nutshell from an
Yeah.
operations
And,
perspective.
and I think what is interesting is, I mean, some people notice that every year we kind of like gather together, and we were in Malta this time, and I think we did some we did a community call from Malta, if you remember, guys. So what happened over there? What happened is, obviously it's the one very unique moment where the team gets together, and this is important. But for us also, this was very specific because we had to make sure that we synchronize a last time before we ship the NymVPN. And I think people must have seen this. If you are watching our GitHub, for example, right now, there is like tons of commits are happening every day. The team, the developing team is like very active in building, and basically that is the result of the Malta event where we put everyone in a room and we align everyone. So it's when you have such a big team, this is actually starting to get difficult. So, and I think we succeeded. So we'll still have to see. We still have to see that we have a VPN which is running. I mean, it starts to run. It's running on my phone. We were getting, and a lot of people are testing it right now on Android or iPhone. So it does work, but we need to be able to come to a point where the phone the app is from a quality that can be sold. People are happy and it's running and it's stable, and so Malta was important for this. Exactly.
Definitely very important meeting. I think you're understating the importance of this meeting. It really was, I think, the last step of like folding into the shape of a proper company. It was really a really important meeting. With all
Yeah,
of this said,
and so for people to know, just like my role in that meeting was to organize the whole event, right? So to make sure like no one had any problem and people could just focus on working. I think I kind of succeeded on there. Let's see.
kind of, I'll give you an 8.2. No, I'm just kidding. It was excellent, Lexi. From one important topic, which is important in one way, let's move on to a different one, which is important in a different way. The elections. We promised we're going to be
Yeah.
talking about the elections a little bit in the announcement. Now, guys, as a preface, we're not going to get political here, so neither Alexi nor I are going to state any political opinions. This is not a call about that. This is not a community about that. And also, I'm pretty exhausted of politics in general, so I it's been enough for a while now. But of course, this election likely has pretty serious implications for the crypto market. So that's the first thing I wanted to ask you about. So Trump won, which I think we can safely ignore polls going forward. So both in 2016 and also now in 2024, the polls were way off. That's just a side note. But Trump won in a landslide, right? And if you believe him, during his campaign trail, where he even attended crypto events and he mentioned crypto a lot of times, this could actually be very good for crypto. This may actually be the first time when we see regulatory clarity, maybe in the United States when it comes to crypto. Um, so I wanted to ask you whether you believe him. He also is about to appoint a few people apparently who are pro crypto, which is going to be the first time ever where we have such a pro crypto um, administration in the United States. It never happened before. How do you see this shaking out? Do you think that we're going to see some regulatory clarity finally? What's going to happen over the next Trump turn or term to crypto?
Yeah, so definitely this election was like super interesting from the crypto side um, because indeed Trump was the only candidate from the two that took really like embrace the topic of crypto. If you look in the details, he said lots of stupid things, right? Oh, we're going to mine all the bitcoins in America. Obviously, that's never going to happen. He's also on the learning curve, I suppose. And he also tried to make his fund and create his platform, which uh, looks really like a scam. So, but that's not the key thing. The key thing is that in the U.S. there is a clear adoption that is happening, and is about 20% of the population now that has some link with crypto. Maybe they have Bitcoin, they have a wallet, they have an account somewhere. They are connected. They had a first experience with crypto. So it's a huge number, and this number also it was shown in the studies that it's like actually fairly distributed between Democrats and Republican. So there was a failure from the Democrat side to realize this, definitely, and there was a success from Trump realizing this. Was this a key element in the election? We don't know, but probably it's the first sign that it's becoming a key element in the election. So what is interesting is what Trump doubled down on, right? So he doubled down on the community. So he understand it was really interesting. The last tweet he did was one of the most interesting. Obviously, I don't believe he wrote it, but that I mean, like many of his intervention from he's using the influence of all the people around him to say something about one topic. But what did he say into this tweet? It was really interesting. One, he said, "Happy birthday to the white paper." That was like during the white paper of day in October. So this is when Satoshi first released the white paper of Bitcoin, and the Bitcoin community has been celebrating every year the white paper day. The same as we have the Genesis block and the first transaction day and the pizza day, whatever. So there you have these days where the which are important in the community. And basically, the first thing he did, he recognized this. He did recognize this day. He made this message saying, "Hey, happy birthday to everyone." Right? So that means he like connects to the community. That was like this is something I never saw from a very high level person like this. The second he says we're going to make to mine Bitcoin in the US. Okay, great. But it does mean that it will give some kind of agency to the mining industry to the Bitcoin mining industry in the US to actually continue, and meaning it's a good thing. Then he said that he's going to stop the war on crypto. And basically that relates to firing Gary Gensler, the head of the SEC. This is what he said also. And then he finally, obviously, he was saying, vote for me. And then finally, he says, free Ross, which is Ross Ulbricht, that he committed to free on day one. And Ross Ulbricht is the founder, or like the designer and the founder of Silk Road, which has been in prison now for so many years and has a double life sentence in prison, which is totally crazy compared to what he has done. So all this in one tweet is kind of like represents what he was standing for, and that was pretty. It's pretty unique. So now, so what it does in the US, it will give a push to the crypto industry in the US. Will it give it into the rest of the world? I don't know. But right now, what is happening is that the SEC was the main friction point in the US. And by committing to stop this war on crypto, that will free up a lot of energy from the sector to do something else. Even at NYM, most of our security strategy in terms of like the legal strategy that we designed for many years was to avoid the SEC because they were going so much off rail. So I can relate to that. That the fact that this has been that it has been very much a problem for the industry. Now, will it have the impact in Europe? I don't know. I think Europe right now is on another dynamic, and they will try to continue to crack down on crypto in a certain way, and we will see a lot of projects in Europe moving to the US if it's frees up there, and at the same time, Switzerland right now is still a striving place for crypto, but the FINMA, the local regulator, is also like going into a weird route. So hopefully this will give some positive energy to the whole rest of the crypto industry. There's also a drawback, a downside of it is that a big part of the crypto industry and the Bitcoin promise is a world where the money is separated from the state, where the government is not in control, but the people are. And it's a bit strange to see a lot of people rooting for getting having a government using Bitcoin, having a government owning a lot of Bitcoin, and that's a bit strange. So we will see how it pans out. Um, but I would say that in general, it will be that we were expecting we were expecting a positive impact. We can see this kind of in the price of Bitcoin, which went through the roof these last 2 days, and we think that it will have a positive trend for the crypto industry in the next coming year. Yeah, that's definitely the case. So we will use this, and it will be at the right moment. At the same time, someone like Trump is going to create he's going to de-engage the country. I mean, this is maybe also what people are asking for. He will disengage the country, the US, from the external. He's like more an isolationist, like getting out of some UN type of bodies or NATO, these kind of things, right? And so what happens in those moments, these are troubling moments, because then you had this empire that was keeping some countries in check, and suddenly the other countries are not in check. So you can have good thing happening, but you can also have bad thing happening, right? Like a dictatorship coming on and authoritarianism still rising in the world. So it means that and when you have these moving moments in a digital age, this is where the type of tech we are building is like super important. So definitely here there's a momentum to be present on the stage, on the international stage, so that NIMS really can help a lot of people that we will need this in the next coming years.
Yes, definitely, I agree with that. So, in summary, it will be very nice to see um, the like final nail in the coffin of regulation by enforcement that the SEC has been doing. It really hasn't been great. It really hasn't been a great environment for innovation, right? The crypto space in the United States, and also I think regardless of which candidate wins, we hear more and more about censorship and surveillance. It
Yeah.
looks like bad people do bad things is still a very strong argument. You see all around the world pushes towards either censorship or surveillance or both, right? You
Yeah.
see chat control in the EU. You see, um, I could list a million things the NSA is doing and has been doing in the United States. So it's definitely, I think,
Yeah.
just about the right
So
time to release
so
NymVPN.
so yeah, exactly. It's true that if you look at the American debate, you had two camps, right? One camp, the Democratic camp, was more like, we need to avoid abuses on the network, on the social networks, and put up some controls, and that eventually moves into censorship, even if there is no intention in the beginning. And this is a bit what chat control is building in Europe. And on the other side, you have people who are now associated to the campaign of Trump, like Elon Musk and X, who are claiming, oh, it has to be free speech, total free speech. But then in reality, you also see that there's like some kind of censoring happening, but in a different way, right? Um, so. But at least in terms of the expression, like of the narrative of like where they want to go, there is one Trump, the current, well, the winning side here was claiming to say, oh, we're on the free speech side, right? So we want to free up speech. So I would take it just as a claim, but uh, at least there is some good hope in that direction. But that will create friction with the rest of the world, because a lot of part of the world, I'm thinking of the Middle East. I'm thinking of of Russia right now, which is getting really much censored. I'm thinking of lots of part in Asia, where basically suddenly there will be like some friction between those part of the world which are heavily censored, and the part of the world which are almost no censored. So there will be friction, and tools are important there to make the bridge.
Yeah, exactly. That's very well said. That actually brings us to the end of my list of questions. Is there anything that you want to add to either the buyback topic or the ops changes that we saw over the past many years, or the elections?
No, I think we're good. I think I'm happy to take questions of the people to go deep dive into one aspect of all these points. I mean, for sure, it's like we still have like a very exciting times. I mean, for us in the community, definitely there will be like very some hard parts, right? There is all this will create systemic changes in the world. How the war in Ukraine will go on or not, and how it will affect Europe. How Europe is going downwards also on the path of authoritarianism. How What will happen in the U.S. with Trump breaking up the dynamics. So some people are happy about this, but it will still break dynamics, and that will have effects on the country. So there will be like a lot of joy and but also a lot of difficult times. So, but all of this is I mean, for the Nym project, it's actually a pretty exciting time where there is going to be a lot of work. So it's going to be a bit strange, but my view is always I rather focus on building something for the future than to deal with like the world falling apart around me, because I believe that what we're building now is going to help to have like a more peaceful future after, when all people are safe in a digital space, and we have like a nice place where um people are protected digitally from any kind of data captation, from data censoring, and um, uh, from spying, and from also like uh, captation of metadata for whatever reason, then people will be more free, and that will make a safer place.
Excellent. That is very well said, and I fully agree. The world is boiling these days, guys, and it's very important for us to create the structures which can safeguard us from a boiling world. With that said, let's jump into community questions. We have a whole bunch of them, so let's be efficient. Word Wizard, thanks for the question, sir. Um, Hi, please, are you accepting the proposal or open to OTC deals? I think
Yeah, we have a lot. No, we don't do that. We don't do that. But there are a lot of brokers who do this. So go to see a broker and do this. But there's also like enough marketplace. So you can, if you have crypto or fiat, you go on normal marketplace and you can buy and sell there. I mean, right now the price is really good. So you wouldn't get much better out of an OTC deal, basically. That's right.
Thanks for that answer. Next one is from Matrix, so I can't put this one on screen. Our beloved John Smith is asking, does Lexi anticipate a change in operations for Nym post NymVPN launch? If yes, what sort of change?
Yeah, very good question. Actually, yes, there's going to be a huge difference, because we are moving from a company and a project that has been doing research and development. So basically, from an operational point of view, it's about managing the cash the best way to make sure we can extend the research the maximum of time. Right, so we're not spending a lot on. Well, I mean, we're really efficient on spending, so that uh, we can give someone the time, like a year, like 2 years, to build something that he needs to do, right? And we're not just like burning the money on day one. So that's how you organize a research and development company. And now we're going to move into a company that we'll still do some research and development, but we will also have a revenue stream. So we will have a revenue from the VPN, and this revenue we want to maximize it for the company and for the community. So there you need to do different things. You need to have more financial projections and monitoring, but also you need to have things like support right? Because when you have a random person who's not part of the community comes and buys the token and they pay regularly the price, they want to have support. So you need to have all this infrastructure in place to make sure that we keep always the best service for people that are coming from outside the community.
Exactly. Bunch of changes, of course, are coming, and we're entering a new phase with Nym. Thanks for the question, John Smith. Let's move on to the next one. I think we already addressed, yes, that one. So, question from Anderson. Maybe we shouldn't speculate on this actually, but I'll still ask you. You can safely skip if you want. What would be the expected impact in tokens price with this buyback?
Well, that's actually what we are watching. This is exactly one of the answer we want to get. I mean, we expect naturally the price to go up, right? Because we are removing liquidity on the market. We are buying. That means some of people of the community who were thinking, oh, maybe that's a good opportunity to sell at the moment because I have someone on the market will buy me. But this is the whole objective of the exercise, is to see where do we get by doing this buyback.
Excellent. Thanks for that answer. And thanks for the question as well. Next up is from Bump. We already addressed this, so let's recap. Will there be a buyback every day, or will it be random?
We don't. It's called a TWAP, so it's an average priced technique that is going to use, but the market maker has the liberty to actually do it in a more random way. So indeed to see so that we won't be able to play. No one can like find a pattern and to play the game out of it. Even if you like do every day, let's say every day $10,000 coming in at the same time, the same, then people would know, and you can see it, and then you can like game it. And that's not the point. The point is to see what is the real impact on the price and on the whole token. And so it will be probably every day, but it will be random.
So it's actually both. Nice. That's
Actually,
rare.
was, yeah.
Excellent. Thanks for the answer, and thanks for the question as well. Next one is from Papu. I'm going to answer this one very quickly. 1 billion USD buyback happening before 12th of December. Yes. Moving on. So a question from Rocio. Thanks for another great question. What do you think will happen after the Ethereum Cypherpunk Congress with the community, and especially with the NymVPN? Not sure what you're referring to, but probably the fact that we are going to be there at the Cypherpunk Congress, myself
When is
included.
that? Oh, you'll be
Uh,
there. Okay. Where is
yeah,
it?
it's going to be next week in Bangkok.
Oh yeah. Okay, yeah. So no, I won't be there. I'm still in Switzerland. It's freezing cold. So, um, uh, and it's next week. So what will happen is that around the same time or a bit after, I think we will have a big release of the NymVPN happening. That will, because we are now preparing for the whole structure so that the payments can be done for the mixnet on the blockchain. Because right now, if you are testing the VPN, you are getting a credential, right? The credential is a zero knowledge proof that says you've paid, right? And you're using this to open up the gate from the gateway. But what we're building now is the part before that, is how do we generate this code. Right now, this code is generated by a computer somewhere, and it just works, right? But in the future, how it will work, I will have to send some tokens on the network to a specific address, and then the validators of the network will recognize these transactions and will issue a credential that is issued by all the validators. And this step now has been tested already, but now it's being implemented in the next version. And that will be the step before. so that we can get to the final step in December 12th, where we will open up the payment flow. So that's the big thing which is happening under the hood by roughly, I would say it will be probably after the Ethereum cypherpunk Congress, but roughly at the same time.
Exactly. Thanks for the question. Payments sound simple, right? But not when you want to do them privately. So that's been part of
And
the
yeah.
exactly. So that's been part of the a big part of the work that we've been doing over the past years at NYM. All right. Thanks for the question, Rocio, as always. Next up is from Word Wizard. I'm not sure if you're asking this because you want to send us specifically a private message or because you're just looking for a private messenger. We'll answer both. Okay. So if you want to send us private messages, you can come to Matrix. NYM has a Matrix server, so you can use that to stay anonymous, but also the NYM team hangs out on Matrix as well. So if you want to send us a DM, then you can do that there safely. Next, anything to add there? Do you have any?
No. And the other way is like is that indeed NYM will be integrated. I mean, the point, one of the point of NYM is to actually be part of like communication. It's a communication system. It's to be part of like a messaging app. And there is one thing that we're working on, but it's a long-term thing, but we want to see, and we're building all the tech stack so we can have a messaging app using the NYM MixNet to send messages. So already now, I mean, if you're using the NymVPN or the NYM MixNet, and you will notice that if you're using the slow mode, which means slow mode, the anonymous mode, which is the MixNet, you will notice that the messages on Telegram, on Signal, they work fine, right? Going on the internet is a bit slow, but sending a message on Telegram and on Signal it's working fine, and you benefit from the MixNet at that moment. So like no one can see that you're using Telegram when you're doing this. So the key thing that we'll implement in the early next year, so that's not for right now, but it's earlier next year, when you will have the app on your phone, we will add split tunneling. That means that like your Telegram app will go through the MixNet, but maybe your game or your YouTube app, whatever, will go through the VPN and not through the MixNet.
I will sound like a broken record because I've been repeating this over and over again, but probably the thing I'm looking forward to the most is split tunneling. It's going to be a big, so for what NymVPN is, right, with these two modes, it's going to be a massive boost in functionality and usability.
Yeah.
Thanks for the question, Word Wizard. Next up is from Hello, cool name. When censorship and censorship resistant WebSockets.
Okay, so about the webs, anti-censorship resistance. So since now 2 months, when did you join? We published a blog post about this, right? We have a new team member which is called Jack, and he is a specialist on censorship resistant technologies. And which means that we are starting to implement slowly. And I think in the very next version, we will have already for WireGuard one adaptation of WireGuard that is going to allow more people to use it, right? Because right now in some countries we notice that if you are connecting with just a WireGuard mode, with the fast mode, it's already kind of blocked. So we're starting this game. The thing you have to understand with anti-censorship, with censorship resistance techniques, is that it's like in cryptography. It's a game of
the mouse game.
Of rolling out things and then being ahead of the game every time, right? So it's a very hard game to play. And we start now with one guy, and we do the basic. We're starting with the basic things, and we're building in our strategy to ramp up this, basically, to be in that battle, to be always on the forefront. It's going to be a big one, but luckily, what is good is that the open source community in this case and is very helpful, because when you are like, and our team is part of this whole community and will be part of, like, also like, Jack has been already pushing upstream some developments to censorship resistant tools. So when we collaborate on a large scale with with resistant censorship, we're much stronger actually as a community than the governments who are building those censorship systems. So that's how we see the strategy in the long run. So just keep in mind, it is coming, but it will be like piece by piece, and it will start growing with the usage also of the network.
Exactly. So censorship resistance is not something that you build once and then you're done with it.
Mm.
It's very much an evolving landscape where you build something, then governments and other actors respond, and then you have to build against that as well. So it's an ongoing process. Super happy to see Jack joining the team to achieve that. Thanks for the question. Hello. Next up from Rocio once again. Thanks for the question. What has been the most difficult thing so far as COO? Name one thing.
One thing.
Yes.
Um, I think it's having to deal with all the shit of everything.
Yep.
You have to take it all. Take it all. There's like there's no moment where uh, even when even when the team is happy and the community is happy and it's going the right way, um, there's some shit happening, right? There's some things happening, and that's usually me and Harry. We have to deal with that. That's coming to us, right?
Absolutely. I can attest to that. Um, a bunch of things. Basically, everything goes through Harry's desk or Alexis' desk. In most cases, both. So yeah, that includes reward payments for everything. I'm bothering Alexi with that. That includes. Anyways, not going to list everything, but believe me when I say I hear where you're coming from. All right, next up, and I think this is going to be our last question. Wait a second. Oh no, there are more questions than I started before. Um, One moment. Yeah, so this one is from Nym Sudo. Cool name. So I heard I heard you have this great looking recruiter called Jack who hires the best people. Is that true? Well, that's
It
true.
is
So we do
true.
have.
That's absolutely true.
Yes, absolutely true. So both parts, we do have a very handsome recruiter called Jack, who you may have seen on some of these community calls popping up before, and he does hire the absolute capital best people. So yeah, that is true. Thanks for the question. Um, this is the last one I started. Wait a second. Let me. There are a few more. I don't think we'll have time for all of them because we will have to go soon-ish, but. Wait a second. Here's one from Beyond. We haven't asked one of his questions before, so let's do that.
Yeah.
All right. So from Beyond, our beloved contributor, thanks for the question. Are you planning to create something similar to Shipyard, but in the form of a recorded course rather than an online one?
Oh,
Yes. I think this is more a question for me. Yes,
yeah.
very much so. The thing is that. Stuff has been changing around a lot at Nym. So often we find, for example, when I watch back, I don't do that often because I hate to watch videos of myself. But when I watch back shipyard content, for example, a bunch of the things that we said, during the lectures is sort of outdated already. It's not a static thing. Well, yeah, right. Then I think we're getting there where we could probably do a shipyard in a like a permanent online format. So that's definitely in the cards. Maybe if you want to collaborate on that beyond, then we could talk about it. So this could be a project for next year. Thanks for the question. And um, okay, I'm going to show one last thing, Matt,
No,
our beloved contributor.
Matthew.
Questions.
Thank you.
I relate that. All right, so big thanks everyone for joining this call. Hopefully, you learned something about the elections and also about the NYM buyback that's currently happening, and also the journey that we've seen in the operations side of NYM. There's one last thing to do, of course, which is a tradition here at NYM. We're gonna give you your POAP. So as usual, you need to go to the same link, which hopefully Salazar can drop in the chat, so I can put it on the screen. Exactly. So it's nymtech.net/go/POAP. And the secret phrase today is DEF CON. Oh, yes. And I set this secret phrase myself as a reminder. We are going to DEF CON. I'll be there. So if you'll also be there, make sure to reach out to me on Matrix or Telegram, although you're better off reaching out on Matrix because my Telegram is crazy. So let's hang out if you're there. It will be lovely to meet you guys. I'm already meeting some community members who I know are going to be there. Really looking forward to it. So if you are at DEF CON, make sure to reach out to me and let's hang out. That's all there is to it. Big thanks again for joining this call. Also, big thanks to you, Alexi, for taking the time. Are there any last
Thank
remarks
you.
you wanna add?
No, no,
Was
just a
it
big thank you to everyone and big love to everyone in the community.
much love, everyone. Have a great day, or morning, or evening, or whatever it may be, and see you in exactly a week from.